Hey everybody, this is Curtis from PSNStores.com. Today we're going to take a look at Adventure Pop. This came out just the other week. It is a free-to-play puzzle game, I guess. We're going to take a look at it. Colin and I actually talked about this briefly on a recent podcast. I believe it's it's episode 69. We talk about it towards the end of that episode. We're going to take a quick look at this. It's a pretty cool little game. I don't know. It reminds me a lot of Bust-A-Move. It's a pretty similar style puzzle game, if you ever played that. At least from what I remember of it. It's been a long time since I've played Bust-A-Move. So this is kind of your level select screen. We're in World 1 right now. This is as far as I've progressed. But we're gonna do... I think we'll do a few of the earlier stages and maybe see if we can't get any farther. But let's take a look at stage 4 here. So there's a story here. There's this character named Max and Penelope. I'll be completely honest, I've been paying no attention to this at all. There are very, very short scenes in between certain levels. I don't know, I just have no investment in this at all. So, I'm here to play a little puzzle game whenever I got some free time. It's easy, it's fun to just jump in here and play a couple levels and be done with it. So this is introducing your ability to swap bubbles and some stuff. So, basically the gist here, we have this cannon. The bubble in the center, the orange one right there, the sun, that shows the current bubble that we're about to launch, and then blue is then one that we can switch to, with the one that's on deck, basically. And then we have a little bit of a cursor that kind of shows our aim. There's actually a power-up you can use to extend it, so you can see exactly where you're shooting your bubble. This one just gives you kind of a general idea, because you can bounce off the wall. So like you see the two blue on top. If for some reason I had to use blue and I wanted to try to like aim at those, I could kind of bounce it off the wall if I wanted to. But in this case, we don't need to. Basically, you want to at least match 3. If you can match 3, they'll all pop. You want to build a combo. You see like the little glowing orbs in the center right there, like the white with like the kind of gray chunks kind of floating around it. Those are special things that we want to burst, because on the right side of the screen you see that the first one filled up. So you want to burst all of those to clear the stage. You see we got 43 bubbles that we can use. And we got 1 of 4 that we need to get specifically, so we'll see if we can pull it off. Shouldn't be too hard. It's one of the earlier levels, so. Now you notice with some of these, the bubbles actually move after each turn. So sometimes there might be a little planning ahead if you want to get like the best combos and whatnot. And we won. So pretty simple premise. This game does add a few things to it though. So maybe if we'll go to level 11. So this is normally would let us select a booster. I don't have any anymore. It does give you some for tutorial levels to show you what they do, but you do need to buy them. And I guess we'll probably take a look at that later in the video to see exactly what the pricing model is, because I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I don't plan on spending any money in this. So here we need to destroy the Leviathan spheres, 18, and as you see on the right hand. L1, R1, we can switch between different power-ups. Again, the telescope is what would extend our aiming. And then this would give us, if I remember correctly, like a rainbow sphere that would count as any color. And then also on the left-hand side, you know, where Penelope is, there's actually a meter below her. When you get farther in, it kind of introduces that mechanic, and that can that's a meter that can fill up and it will give you a special bonus as well. And maybe we'll talk about that if we see it. But for now, let's just play. You see, oh, it actually is filling up now, so we should be able to see it this level. There's a monster on the right-hand side. So there actually are stages where you are fighting boss enemies. And those play out like versus stages, like in multiplayer. And so maybe we'll take a look at one of those as well. So you notice my meter is full now. If I hit triangle, it's going to charge up the bubble. So what it will do is it will, instead of just landing on a set of bubbles and popping, it'll actually fly through and pop multiple bubbles. Colin and I agree. We find this kind of underwhelming. Because normally you would think, oh, it's going to like go through a line and just smash through a bunch of bubbles at once. Great. And then you do it, and it's like, I mean, in that case, I actually got like an okay combo there. Or like I got a decent chunk of bubbles popped. But I feel like it should do more. I don't know. Also, I think the music stopped. So that's great. This game has become weirdly quiet now. Awkwardly so. We'll deal with it. I'm just not getting that aiming. And level clear. Even if the music on my end is not... I wonder if, yeah, hopefully the video capture is getting it. I don't know. I've never had the music cut out on me in this game, so that's fun. So with that said, let's go ahead... I guess we'll go ahead and look at one of the versus stages so you can kind of see what that looks like. I believe this is one of them. Yeah. So you can do multiplayer versus, but in this case, as you're going through the campaign, there will be bosses that you need to fight. And so it's pretty simple. You've probably seen it in other kind of puzzle games of this style, where as you do better and get better combos, you'll send more, in this case, bubbles over to the side of your opponent. And once there's whoever screen fills up first loses. So here we're just kind of trying to make matches. Trying to make the magic happen. It's not gonna happen here. This is great. Yep. It can just be very hard to aim. And I guess really, I'll be in, yeah, we'll take a look at the pricing structure after this, because I'm curious what we're looking at here, since this is a free-to-play game. One of the things that I've noticed, or one of my suspicions at least, and we talk about on the podcast, is I feel like there's a chance this game could get difficult in a way that would encourage you to want to buy more of your boost, your specials, to be able to use them more, to clear different levels as it gets harder. And seeing as I don't think there's any way to get those except for just buying them, or in this case, if you lose, it's like, hey, you can get back in the fight if you just spend some gems. And as far as I'm aware, the only way to get gems is by buying them. So yeah, so let's take a look. Let's just quit, and we'll take a look at what that actually entails. Because basically, like, once I started getting to around level 17 or so, or it was like 16 or 17, I think. I had like 2 straight levels, or I was just having like, it took me a handful of tries to actually clear it, and could just be be me being bad at this game. But I also thought, you know, if that's how, if it's gonna start like getting pretty difficult this early on, and like halfway through World 1, where there's like 3 worlds in the game, you know, I wonder if it's going to be a thing where you're gonna need to use those boosts to have a good chance at clearing levels. And if that's the case, then you probably will be needing to buy things. Now, granted, it is a free game, so if it's cheap, then that's not too bad. But well, all right. So here's what we're looking at. So we have gyms, pre-game, and in-game. And as we look at these boosts, I can kind of explain what they do too. So we have just general gyms, and thus far the only use I've seen for those are just continues. Although I suppose it is probably possible that you might be able to buy these boosts with gyms. We'll look at that. We'll dig into this and see if that's possible. So $3 for 320. What was it? Was it like a... I don't think it was that much for a continue. So 320, 540 for $5, top seller. God. $10, 1,200, 19. I don't know, man. Whenever I see the free-to-play stuff with like $50+ increments, it just always kills me because I'm like, what? Who? Oh yeah, so here we go. So you buy the gyms to get the boosters. So obstacle swapper is 90, super booster 90, double score 160. So these are, yeah, okay. So these are more things just to affect the game in itself, each level. And then Rainbow Bubble, Spyglass Booster, and Cannon Booster. These have a plus next to them? Oh, okay. So you can buy 3, 9, or 18 for 200, 400, or 700. If we want to... It's probably the same for each one, right? No, some of these are more expensive. I guess it, you know, Spyglass is kind of cheating in a way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that gets to the point where, like... I don't know. You probably do the math and sit there and figure out. It just kind of... It's a bummer that, like... So, like, for $3.20, for $3, you basically only have one of these. You could get 3 of one of these. Which would probably be the thing you would recommend, right? These are the things that would help you. Unless you really wanted to, like, start score chasing stuff. But if it's the type of thing that you're going to need to be buying these and using them to, like... if the game gets really hard, you know, that's... I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer when, like, that kind of stuff isn't earnable in-game as well, I guess. It really depends. You know, it's such a case-by-case basis. It's something I think you have to make the decision yourself if you want to dig into that or not. But what we can do... See if there's any other thing we want to take a look at. Can we get the music back? No? So this versus mode, you can do online or local. It looks like you can choose different characters. Oh, this is interesting. So they have different stats. It's kind of cool. Okay. Well, I think that's gonna do it. That is Adventure Pop. I think it's... I don't know. It's cool. I don't know how much more I'll play of it. I think I'd be willing to... You know, every so often, like, just play a level or two if I got some free time, and if I can get far, like, see how far I can get at least without having to plop down money. It's kind of typically how I go with free-to-play games. But it is available now on PS4, so again, it is free-to-play. That was also kind of a look at what the pricing structure is too, just so you know that it is there and it does exist. But I don't know. I don't know too much about how I feel about it until maybe I get further into the game and I'm able to see just how much of a crutch it would be if you want to get farther into the game or not. So thank you for watching as always. And until next time, I'll see you later.